I would like to introduce.
Wiser.
All right. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Webc here, and welcome to the show tonight. And as you can see, we're once again talking airbrush. So come on in, get comfortable, and we're going to talk about all the wonderful things about this wonderful machine. And it's wonderful little things. Now, just recently, one of my friends has started using an airbrush, and I have been there to help him, guide him, show him what everything is. But it's always good to give everybody a ground-based level of what your airbrush is and what your airbrush does. So one thing, to be clear, this is lacquer thinner. This is airbrush cleaner. They do the same thing. The difference is this is for water base, this is for lacquer. Why it's called lacquer thinner might be why it's for lacquer. All right, you guys. So these are the two thinners I keep on hand, along with I use isopropyl alcohol as a deep cleaning agent for my machine. Isopropyl will eat away at your rubbers in your machine. So keep that in mind. All right. Other things I use while airbrushing that I don't talk about a lot, I use these droppers, these really tall, clear droppers. And then I also use a two-sided brush. The two-sided brush is really nice. It's really handy. You can get in there and agitate something if it's clogging, or you can, really get in there and clean out the back side of it with that brush to make sure there's no clogging on the upside. Really good product. I like to keep it on hand at all times. I just use these when I need to use like enamel thinner or, whatever else I need to for a cleaning agent. So I usually keep those right on the side next to the brush. This is my airbrush. So this is what we're going to talk about next. This is the paint I'm using today. And then this is the airbrush I'm using today. So this airbrush has some things on it, and it's a little dirty and dingy, right? You can obviously see I left it a little dirty last time I used it. I cleaned out the inside, I promise. But on the outside, I don't always get the cup clean. So we'll clean that up at the end of the show today for sure. So right here, this piece is a quick release stem that goes onto your closed valve stem that goes into your pump circuit, which then goes to your trigger and your cylinder. Okay, your trigger and your cylinder go in, and then your needle goes in. Here is your air valve tank adjustment. So what this is going to do is going to adjust how the air and the paint mixes. And I'm not sure which direction is which, like left or right is up or down or whatever. However, when you first get your airbrushes, you're going to want to use this to dial in your airbrush. Factory airbrushes don't always come dialed in or don't always come ready to use. So that's one thing you need to be aware of and keep in mind. So in the future, when you change this, what this will do is it will change the shape and thickness and wideness of your airbrush pattern. Now, I go for a 4-inch spray pattern, and what that means is I don't want more than 4 inches, my hand's length, away from the airbrush. I don't want to be more than that away. So I don't want to be using a lot of paint and stuff. I rarely pull my trigger all the way back. So I'm using a really small spread, like because the parts I paint are always really small. So I'm trying to use as little airbrush paint as possible, so I'm not getting heavy waste. And you're gonna waste. Like airbrushes are wasteful. That's a whole nother story. We can talk about how wasteful they are. All right, so back to the parts. So this is where this tunes your air mixture. Now, this dial right here actually isn't really a dial, more like a setting screw. And if you turn it, it will release your hold on, it'll release your needle, but my needle's a little jammed. So it will release your needle when you turn it, and then your needle can move in and out. Mine's a little gunked up. So, oh yeah. So what we're gonna do with that, I got this cloth. I cut a bunch of cloths, pre-cut a bunch of these really nice cloths. We're just gonna take this and we're gonna pour a little bit on here. Just get a little bit on so you can. So this is the lacquer thinner because I believe I used my lacquers last. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna just make sure this is clean all the way up. Okay, don't worry about bending your needle by touching it or anything. That's not gonna happen. Just keep moving straight. Excuse me. Dry throat. I went and got some water before I started the show, but my throat is a little dry this afternoon. A little dusty. It feels dusty out. All right. Now, one thing you want to do is just check your tip. Your tip might have some bending in it or something. You can always straighten it out yourself by hand. Some people might find this a bit riskier. I don't recommend doing it a whole lot, just because it is fragile. All right, so just be warned, it's fragile. Don't always recommend doing that. But now it was clogged up in there. Okay, so when we go to put it back through, we're going to see if we feel any resistance. Now, when we're putting it in, if we feel resistance, then we know that it's in proper. Okay, so the first resistance is passed, and it's not like a big resistance. Do you see how I'm not putting a lot of force on it to move? It's just touching it helps move it. But do you see how it doesn't just drop all the way in? That's the resistance I'm talking about. That's good resistance. You want that. That means there's still a seal right there. And you want that seal. That seal is going to help you create pressure for your airbrush. Now, you're going to go ahead and push it firmly, not like jam it, but you're going to push it firmly. Once you see your needle come out, you're going to push it firmly in, and then you're going to use this nut to lock it. Then once that's locked in, then you can trigger action, and you should just barely be able to see the tip of your needle when you do the full action. Just barely. All right. Now, once you put this piece back in, you won't be able to do any dialing or anything. You'll be locked and loaded, is what I like to call it. So this is what your airbrush looks like once it's fully assembled and finished. It will give you some opportunities to airbrush, tweak this piece here if you need to, which you should never. But then the other thing is, this right here is it limits how far back this switch can be pulled. And what that limits is how far this needle goes. All of that is just from this. It's like a stopper and it spins so you can dial it in. And when it's all the way dialed down, trigger won't move. When you start moving it out, depending on what you're looking for, I don't like to go past 3/4. I like to have a 3/4 switch out, so I like to just leave it 3/4. The reason why is because, once again, we're trying to conserve. So if you're trying to conserve on material, 3/4 bore, have it all put together, dialed in, ready to go. Next, like I said, it's on a quick release. So here's my quick release. Here's my spring-loaded piece here. When we put them together, you don't want to just jam it in there. You want to make sure it goes in nicely and it has like a little bit of pushback. And then when it pushes back up, it locks in place. And once it's locked, it'll have a good air seal. You won't have escaping air. Next up on my airbrush is a air pressure dial that's right here at the air gun, or right here at the gun. The reason why you want that there is for detailed control. If you don't want to like dial down your whole machine, you can dial this back to get lower PSI. So if you want to, you can dial down to 15 real quick and just get a couple tight spots that you just want a little bit of paint in. You don't want a bunch of blowing air and paint everywhere. You just want a little bit of paint moving. That's what you can do with that. But you're barely going to use that with this kind of airbrushing that we do for hobby models. It's mostly just layer paint, So I'd love to do some perfect grades, so I could do some really cool airbrushing, like, you know, caricatures on the shield and on the armor plates and stuff. That'd be cool. Next up, after the air pressure dial, we have what's known as a moisture trap. This moisture trap has a copper filter in it, and it also has a release valve. This release valve, when you hold it straight up and down and you push the release out, the water comes shooting out through the air pressure of the machine while it's operating. That is the airbrush that I use. I have two airbrushes that are hooked up and they can be used simultaneously. This one is not on a quick release system because I only have like 4 airbrushes, so I only have 3 quick release pins. So I have one airbrush that just stays. This is my airbrush that doesn't. All right, next up, and let's talk about our paints that we use. We can use some different kind of paints, and each paint comes with different kinds of chemicals, right? So the water-based paint, you're gonna have a bunch of things that you're gonna want to mix in to create different types of effect solutions and durabilities. Okay, and then you have your lacquer paints, which some lacquers come pre-mixed, or some lacquers are just like the water-based I just showed, where you have to mix things. Today, we're going to be using what is known as a premix solution. This product is created by a company that really doesn't produce anymore. They were known as G Paint. So I'm still just using up the rest of my lacquer of the product and getting that out of here. We gotta shake it up real good, and then we'll be ready to go. I actually have a little stir stick right here. All right. One of the things that's really cool about these G paints is they came with a metal stir ball, and I have a magnet, and it's magnetic, so I can drag the ball around and stir it up, and then shake it again. It really helps. All right. And now we're gonna let that sit for a minute. That's what the instructions say to do. And I'm gonna get my window set up, and I'm gonna mute the microphone. And then we're gonna get to spraying. So enjoy the peace and quiet. I don't know. I know it's a quiet video. It's quiet when I airbrush because I want to cut out the all that extra fan noise and stuff. So just bear with it and have fun. Have a good time watching. I don't have background music right now because the background music isn't happy. Doesn't play very well. I'm still working on trying to figure out how to get all that to work. So tonight's airbrushing video is just gonna be a real quiet video. Anyways, we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy the airbrushing because after I get done airbrushing, I'm just gonna end the video and I'm gonna head over to. I think I'm gonna head over to Build Night, hang out with those guys on Build Night. I think. So we'll do that. I'll be over in the Celestial in their Discord tonight after Build Night. That's my Friday night Build Night spot. On Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I'm at Berserker Mix. And then on Mondays, I'm at Plastic Addicts. And then on Friday nights, I'm podcasting Slush Room there. That's kind of where you can find me, catch me, hang out with me, have a good time. So yeah, we've got about 120 parts to paint. So let's get to it.
Master Grade Wing Gundam Verka.
Let's go. Let's go.
Taking this plain old wing kit from this to this work of art.
Let's go.
This build was a task of labor and love for the hobby. Adding more wings and a premium paint job help elevate this kit to new heights. Join us at WebC Official for more spotlights and live shows.
Hey everybody, Websy here. To have your project or your company featured on Websy Official, join us on Patreon at Websy Official.
Master Grade Wing Gundam Verka.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Taking this plain old wing kit from this to this work of art.
Let's go.
This build was a task of labor and love for the hobby. Adding more wings and a premium paint job help elevate this kit to new heights. Join us at WebC Official for more spotlights and live shows.
Hey everybody, Websy here. To have your project or your company featured on Websy Official, join us on Patreon at Websy Official.
All right, there you have it. Thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out here about Airbrush. This fan is loud and annoying. That's why I just might turn it off. But we'll see you next time on Web Goes Live.